This is Proxy Countdown. Welcome to the big show for the week of January 12th, 2026. Alongside my tag team partner, Matt Mascardi. I'm Damian Rawlis. On today's countdown, more CEO pay for underperformance. Daivd Zaslav's limitless pot of options, shares and equity and everything. An almost completely neutered shareholder proposal social scene. Our first director no vote for 2026, and on the big vote, Matt's early 2026 season observations. Let's start with our top stories. Let's actually start with all the dumb pay AKs that I stumbled on. First, a Christmas week pay dump at CrowdStrike. CEO George Kurtz is getting an equity award with a target value of $140 million, worth up to $280 million, but still worth $70 million, even if the company is at the 25th percentile of TSR compared to its peers. So that's kind of the new normal, right?
This is the same company, CrowdStrike, that had like a massive glitch that basically grounded airplanes. Same
Absolutely.
CEO, same founder. Probably worth it to perform in the bottom 25th percentile and get $70 million.
Warner Brothers discovered Daivd Zaslav. This is just nuts. CEO Daivd Zaslav. This is a company that's about to be bought, right? Merged. So
with
under
someone, yeah.
So in June, he somehow got a new employment agreement, even though the company's about to go away or about to be eaten by Netflix. And on June 12th, he got 21 million stock options with an exercise price of about $10, worth theoretically about $400 million. Flash forward to a few weeks ago, January 2nd, he was granted 3 million more stock options. They're calling these follow-on stock options with an exercise price of about $28. Those are worth about, approximately $40 million. And because to address the higher exercise price of these options compared to the initial grant, they gave him another 2 million restricted stock units worth of $56 million. So the share price went up $18, which means that his original batch of 21 million stock options were going to be theoretically worth a crap ton of money. And to make up for the fact that the new batch of options is priced higher, they gave him a bunch of other. I mean, this is just, what is this? This is nothing. This is not a plan. This is like kids playing with marbles and M&Ms and eating Kit Kats. What is this? This is nothing.
Not only do I think crap ton is an official number, but I do think
never seen so many options.
Doesn't the board now need to issue we're sorry, we'll never do this again?
But do they care?
Which
in
is
media,
what they do after all.
Do you do that in media though?
Isn't that what that's standard practice after you give a giant weird retention award for nothing?
Stupid. I mean, it's outrageous. I hope all investors are paying attention to these to stay on pay this year. Berkshire Hathaway, Warren Buffett has stepped down, although correct me if I'm wrong, he's still the executive chair, or is he gone? Is he still the chair?
I think he's stepping down entirely, actually.
Yeah. I think he's actually, well, you have to look that up. I think he's still the chair.
I'm not totally sure.
So CEO Greg Abel has taken over. This is like the 400-year succession plan that we've known about forever. And Warren Buffett used to get this very folksy salary amount of $100,000 a year, I believe, about $100,000. Greg Abel suddenly has his salary increased to $25 million. So he sort of is leaping beyond the status quo of what is usually a big salary of $1 million, and he's just going all the way up to $25 million.
That seems, actually, in his defense, that seems pretty average now.
$25 million salary. At Aon, we've seen a lot of this recently. Gregory K, CEO, he has his contract extended or whatever that means, and they're giving him performance shares worth between $50 and $100 million. They're increasing his salary. Now, these performance shares, is the target value is $50 million. And if a TSR is negative, right? So if he's underperforming, they're going to cap that award at 100% of target.
That's a nice cap.
That's the language that they use, right? So not even 25% of target, like at CrowdStrike, which still would have given him $70 million. But they're saying, look, if he underperforms, we're just going to cap the award right at 100%. So he can't, which I guess they want us to interpret as he's being punished and he won't be able to get 200% of the award. But I read this as just lunacy.
Is there a floor, or do they just say is negative? What if it goes 99% down?
It just says he can't make more than that. That's all it says.
Oh, okay. Just making sure.
And then finally at Duolingo, I wanted to point out the CFO hire. She's getting a golden hello package worth $14 million. I don't really know why she needs a golden hello worth that much, but that's not the point. I just wanted to point out that we're seeing a lot of this recently, straight from board to C-suite. So Gillian Munson was the audit committee chair at Duolingo, been on the board since 2019. She's jumping right into the C-suite. We're seeing a lot of this, which the only thing I can extrapolate from this is that these board members really are not super independent. They're ready to jump in. They're ready to act as executives. They're basically inside hires.
Was anybody confused that they were?
Well, I think that they have made this song and dance that these people are independent, right, from management.
So the same thing just happened at Paramount, actually, which I'll talk about later.
Let's move over to some. I don't know if there's an increase in this, but I'm definitely like it feels like an increase. So let's continue to collect the data and see what happens with this, but. There's just a lot of former CEOs sticking around, becoming executive chairs, some high-profile people. At IDEX Laboratories, CEO and chair Jonathan Mazelski is stepping down and will transition to the role of executive chair. The new CEO, Michael Erickson, he will join the board. And the current chair, Lawrence Kingsley, will be demoted to independent lead director. I don't know why the former CEO needs to stick around. I don't know why Lawrence Kingsley can't be the chair. Why can't the former CEO transition to be a board member? Why does he? Why are we giving the former CEO? Why are we letting him be executive chair? I don't know. Toll Brothers, same thing. Carl Mystery is the new CEO. He's going to join the board. Douglas Yearley Jr. is going to stick around as executive chair and get about $7 million in pay. Caterpillar, same thing. Caterpillar's a little bit different, but still, we're consolidating the power at all these companies. CEO and current executive chair James Umpleby is resigning. Former CEO. So the former CEO and current executive chair stepping down. The new CEO is becoming the chair. So, and then they also did this weird thing where they amended the bylaws to change the name from presiding director to lead independent director. Why do you think they did that? Why do you think it's necessary to amend the bylaws to change the name of the presiding director to the lead independent director? I don't understand that one.
That just seems like they want to be like everybody else, right? Nobody else has the presiding director or whatever. Nobody even knows what that means.
Again, it's 2026. I don't know what is the harm in having an additional level of independent oversight at your company. So,
I think they should have renamed it to Regal Director, not Lead.
Same thing at AIG. Chairman and CEO Peter Zaffino intends to transition to executive chair as he steps down as CEO. And as executive chair, he's still going to get a target pay of about $15 million, which is only a little bit less than the target pay of the new CEO, $18 million. And I wanted to point out Energy. Wait, is that really the company? Energy? Is that really it?
NRG
That's terrible.
Energy.
It's
yeah,
terrible.
Yeah.
They actually did something right. Their new CEO is Robert Godet. He's replacing Lawrence Coben. Lawrence Coben is actually resigning. And the new CEO, Robert Godet, will join the board, but won't be chair. In fact, they're promoting director Antonio Carrillo to be chair. So, wow, here's a company We're the new CEOs, not the chairs, so congratulations. At Oracle, their two old directors are finally being booted, George Conrades and Naomi Seligman, 86 and 87 years old. I don't know why Larry Ellison decided to kick them out suddenly. I mean, couldn't they be... Oracle's full of like co-s, like there's like co-CEOs, co-vice chairs,
Yeah, there's a lot of co-s.
Why couldn't they be like really the co-old fogies on the board? I don't know why suddenly they're gone. And finally, I wanted to point out something I've never really seen before. Correct me if you've seen this. SUI Group Holdings. CFO Joseph Garachi II. Thank God he's a second, because we need to keep that legacy going. Is resigning from the board. I don't know why the CFO's on the board in the first place. You don't see that in America very often. He's resigning from the board, but staying as board observer. What the hell? What the hell is a board observer? Why?
Board observer is pioneered by Howard Schultz, isn't it? That's a thing.
What are we doing?
It's board emeritus.
Yeah.
It's the person who sits in the back, who they just don't want to leave for whatever reason.
So I guess all that really means is that he won't have a vote, but it's not like he's muzzled. I mean, he gets to speak and sway the vote, right? I'm sure.
Is he muzzled?
A board observer? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard. All right, let's move on.
They give him binoculars and they tell him go.
Let's go to our proxy cage matches. There's two initial fun kind of proxy contests. First at Paramount. You're going to cover Paramount, so I'm not really going to get into
this. A little bit, yeah. I'll cover a little bit.
So Paramount is firing back. They're mad about Netflix. Warner Brothers really wants Netflix to take it over. Can you blame them? I mean, Netflix is basically synonymous, just like Kleenex with facial tissue. Netflix is TV now, right? So I would think you'd want the company that basically is TV to buy you, but that's forget that point. Paramount is firing back, saying that they are going to launch a proxy contest. They haven't announced. They want to nominate a new slate of directors who will vote to kill the Netflix merger and accept Paramount's hostile takeover instead. It sounds pretty self-involved there, pretty egotistical. But they haven't announced who that slate of directors might be. And at Lululemon, we talked about this earlier in previous episodes. Founder Chip Wilson, who never seems to go away.
Yeah.
Mr. Controversies there, Chip Wilson, Mr. Misogynist. He is launching a proxy fight. He's not happy. So CEO Calvin McDonald is stepping down. He's due to step down this month. Maybe he already did step down. Chip Wilson is accusing the board of a total failure of oversight. Total. Which suggests, it's only in these times of proxy contests, which suggests that it is important that that the board provide oversight, and B, that who sits on your board must be important. There must be a way of quantifying this, of measuring this, right? I wish Chip would reveal how he knows that it's a total failure of oversight. I'd like to see his metrics. He has named 3 candidates to the board. That he intends to nominate Mark Moorer, former co-CEO of On Holding, Laura Gentle, former chief marketing officer of ESPN, and Eric Hirschberg, former CEO of Activision Publishing. Chip Wilson is also going to submit a proposal to declassify the board. So once again, governance is important when activist investors show up, right?
So, wait, he was the founder of the company that founded the classified board. So now that he doesn't like what the company's doing,
because as an investor and shareholder, it gives him limited control.
Now he's really upset about the classified board and wants to declassify it. He doesn't see any irony in that.
Yeah. Oh, he might, but he's going to do it anyway. Those are our proxy cage matches. Let's go over our first vote results table of the new year, 2026. Now, I looked at 53 meetings. Now, for the top news stories, I focus on the biggest companies by market cap. It's usually, we call them leagues 1 and 2? Is that what we call them?
Yes, yeah.
It's roughly the call it the Fortune 600 roughly, right?
Oh, the 3 and 4. 3
and 4. It's roughly the
leagues.
what?
Yeah.
It's like the 600 biggest companies in the U.S.
Roughly, yeah.
For the vote results table, I actually looked at everything I could find, not just big caps. So I looked at 53 meetings as of Tuesday. So I actually missed the one from Zscaler, which I'll mention at the end. But that was yesterday that vote came out. So I haven't covered that one yet. 53 meetings, 47 of them, the average yes for directors was well over 90%. In fact, 22, this is nearly a half, 22 of 53 meetings, at least 99% average yes.
Wow. That's a lot of yes.
We had 6 companies hitting a 99.9% yes. In fact, we had 3 companies hitting 99.99% and 2, Nocera and GD Culture Group, hitting 99.999% yes. So there you go. Again, I'd like to see the measurement. I'd like to see why. I would just love to see if Chip Wilson can.
Chip Wilson can name, right? Controlled? Are they all controlled? They're all controlled, right?
Yeah, that's the assumption. But look, hey, I don't care. We're still covering the alternative democracy here. That's what's important.
Just saying 99.9999%. I mean, how many nines do you have?
I wanted to point out before I move on, I wanted to point out Creative Realities. That's a company with a 6-member board, average 98% yes. Here are the first names of the 6-member board: Dave, Tom, Don, Dan, Dick, and Steve.
Oh, they didn't even double up on one of the names. That's actually disappointing.
Dave, Tom, Don, Dan, Dick, and Steve. Very little going on with Say on Pay. There were 8 out of 53 that were over 10% no. It's not a lot. The biggest one was Lifeway Foods with 47% against. But that, looking at the pay, had really nothing to do with pay. I think there's just there's a little bit of a proxy contest going on there, and they're using that as a kind of a tool for their anger. So really nothing to say with Say on Pay. Out of 53 recorded meetings, we had a grand total, drum roll please, of 2 shareholder proposals. 2. Yeah, and again, not including the one at Zscaler yesterday. 2. One at Cisco Systems. A report assessing how Cisco's inclusion programs provide positive financial value to stockholders. That got a rousing 1% of the vote.
Wow.
Yeah, so we're getting rid of DEI. So why do they want to know? Why do they actually want to see the metrics behind getting rid of DEI? Why prove anything, right? And then at Lifeway Foods, which I already mentioned, there's a struggle going on there. There was a proposal to form a committee to conduct reviews of the company's management, the company's strategic plan, and the company's strategic alternatives. I like this. I like having a committee to conduct reviews of the company's management. That's a new one. Why not?
I thought the governance committee or the nominating committee was supposed to do that. That's that committee,
right? But that one failed. But it did get 29% of the vote. That's pretty high. Our first no director vote of the year, or the only one that I tracked out of those 53 meetings, and really the only one that was close, was a man named Miles Jennings at a company called Nixxy, Nixxy. He got an 89% no.
Wow.
And it worked. He is resigning. He already resigned. He resigned on January 1st. Of course, it said his resignation is not the result of any disagreement with the company or any matter relating to the company's operations, policies, or practices. I find that hard to believe.
It does seem like it was a disagreement between the people who own the company and him, right?
Yeah.
Like that does seem right.
I did my best. We have some good listeners actually who bail us out of this, who have inside information and usually tell us why this happened. I couldn't figure it out. In the bio, it said he served in various executive capacities with the company. He was the founder. He was the CEO. He was the COO. So I don't know. Maybe they're just. I don't know who's sick of. I don't know. I honestly, that's a really high vote against, especially for the CEO and founder. I couldn't find any negative stories. There was nothing about attendance. So if anyone knows, tell us. This is.
I'd love to know what's going on.
This is a resounding this is a resounding "we hate you" vote. And then finally, I just wanted to point out I like to highlight celebrity directors. Ndamukong Suh. Am I saying that right?
Yeah, Ndamukong Suh.
He was a giant. I remember him. He was a giant football player. I think for the Lions. I don't know. It doesn't matter. He was a giant football
Dolphins. Player. He was on the Lions,
and he used to get. And I remember him for this reason. He used to get a lot of problems with the league, and including suspension because I think he stepped on a quarterback's head once. He was an angry dude. I think he stomped on someone's head once.
He stomped. He kicked someone's. I think he stomped on someone's arm. He two people's arms in 2011 and 2014, and then he kicked someone in the head at some point. Yeah.
Kicked someone in the head.
So he was known for using excessive force over and over and over again.
And I remember at the time blaming a lot of that rage on steroids. But anyway, not only is he a director at a company called Sizzle Brands. I'm sorry. He is a director at FG Nexus. He's also a director of Sizzle Brands, which I think is a Canadian company. But we talk about all the time how one of the reasons why so many women in our database don't have high influence numbers is that they don't have any leadership, not even on committees. This guy, Sue, the former football player, he's actually on the nominating and corporate governance committee. How about that?
He's on the nominating committee.
Good for him, right?
So he's overseeing who gets elected to this board.
Yeah, so this is FG Nexus. And if you want to know what FG Nexus does, I'm going to read you a quote, and you can drop me a note if you can interpret this, because I have no idea what this means. We are building the leading capital market vehicle dedicated to accumulation and on-chain yield generation for the next decade of Ethereum. This is Ethereum's MicroStrategy moment, but with staking, yield, programmable money, and RWA tokenization. I don't know what's happening, Matt. I don't know.
That's not Sizzle. That's FG Nexus.
I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're wasting our time with. It seemed like there were real problems in the world, and yet, I don't. There are football players on boards with yield generate. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Anyway, that's my report.
Look, someone's got to be dedicated to Ethereum accumulation and on-chain yield generation. Someone has to do that.
So, tracking companies for next week, we're still not quite there yet. This proxy season really hasn't begun. But, I looked at, there's 7 that I bookmarked, 7 companies over $1 billion market cap with meetings next week. So, we're getting there, right? It's coming.
It's coming. The season is coming.
What do you got?
All right, so I got some updates on Paramount, Warner Brothers, Netflix, and a couple updates on no action. The SEC's no action.
Yeah.
So in terms of Paramount, I think yesterday or maybe 2 days ago, David Ellison. It's pointless to talk about it as Paramount. It's just David Ellison and Larry. It's the Ellison family.
We'll start with Larry Ellison. Yeah.
It is Larry and Nepo baby.
Something tells me that David could not have afforded this, and would not have been hired.
Actually, it says in the documents he cannot afford it. Now, Larry has personally staked $40 billion himself for this purchase. But David filed a lawsuit to block the deal between Warner Brothers and Netflix.
Good for him.
And they asked for it to have an expedited track through the courts. That decisions came down, I think, today, and he lost. They won't expedite it.
Oh, wait, what?
They won't expedite the case. I think literally like 2 hours ago. I think.
Oh, wow.
So
what's the point of donating to Trump's ballroom then?
Well, because Trump hasn't gotten rid of every Delaware judge yet. But they have escalated the fight, and they are going to nominate their own directors, which got me curious about who's on Paramount's board to begin with. Because if you're launching a proxy fight, who you choose to be on the board is actually going to be an important distinction, right? Like you're going to go through and you got to say Warner Brothers board is insufficient, and Paramount, we can give you a better board and really assess the Netflix Paramount.
It's cute.
Bid for control.
Your story is cute, Matt, but I would assume that this is really just about control, right? It's about controlling the vote, right? You're putting on yes men.
All you're trying to do is get people who are approved the Paramount deal onto the board, and this is a shortcut to getting that deal done, and rejecting Netflix is really what it comes down to.
Good luck finding people who wouldn't want Netflix to take over. Go ahead.
Well, here is the governance lunacy at Paramount.
Sure.
Because I wanted to know, like, okay, who's picking and how is it going to get picked? Ellison bought Paramount just last year. They closed at towards the end of last year using Daddy's money, using Larry Ellison's money. The governance structure that was left over was a dual class company. Sherry Redstone controlled the company to begin with, so it stays a controlled company. The thing I don't quite understand is the legacy holdover governance lunacy. That is, just bear with me. A director at Paramount is elected per usual. There is a shareholder vote. It is a controlled company, meaning Ellison basically controls the vote. But it does go to minority shareholders. They get a vote. Everyone picks those directors. Ellison's always wins. So that's like every other dual class company. However, in this case, Ellison also gets what's called a low vote director and an Ellison designee director. A low vote director are directors that are handpicked by Ellison himself as the controlling shareholder. As long as he owns over 50%, he gets a certain amount. If he owns less than 50%, he gets less of them. But he handpicks them no matter what. And they are automatically on the board.
Can you put some numbers behind this? Like, how big is the board, and how many directors are you talking about?
So the board right now, as it stands, is I'll pull it back up because I don't have it in front of me. I think it's 10 people. It's a regular sized board. It's a 10-person board.
So he already controls the vote. No,
he already controls the vote. Yes.
So what he's saying is that the people that he already approved are doing something that he doesn't want. So he's going to add some more directors. Is that it?
So depending on how much of a stake he continues to own, he gets to pick a certain number of the directors himself, and
have the controlling vote on the rest of the directors,
and have the controlling vote on the rest of the board. This is the lunacy. But some of the directors that he picks are designated low vote directors.
I don't know what
that means. They're picked. These directors are picked by Ellison. They automatically get a board position. And they don't even need the sham vote to go to directors.
But they have they have the same power in the boardroom as everybody else.
Incorrect. So then there's the Ellison designee directors.
Oh my God.
That are handpicked by Ellison.
It sounds like super delegates in the Democratic Party. Yeah, go ahead.
Not only are they handpicked by Ellison, but they have dual class board votes.
Wow, I've never heard of this.
In the boardroom, and I've never heard of this.
This is really stupid.
In the boardroom, if they vote for a merger or for something, their vote counts. Here's the quote. I'll just read it because it's hard to do this math. Each Ellison designee, which shall not include any low vote designees, it's just the Ellison designees, shall each have a number of votes on any matter presented to the board or any committees thereof equal to one more than the total number of directors of the whole board or committee.
So why are we voting? Wow, this is crazy. This is like an episode of Survivor. Like they found some kind of a special power to have like double votes or something.
It's like, not only does Ellison pick everyone on the board because he controls the company, he actually is controlling inside the boardroom some people who get one vote per person, who he just handpicks, who doesn't go to a sham vote. He's also picking someone who has all the votes on the board and can just override it. In fact, the only reason why I bring this up is because they filed an 8K yesterday where the prior Ellison designee, Dennis Sinelli, was just named CFO of the company. He was the Ellison designee. He's staying on the board, but because he's now the CFO of the company, they had to rename the Ellison designee to Andy Campion, who is ex-Nike. He's on the Starbucks and Williams Sonoma boards. And he's now the new Ellison designee. He has all the votes on the board of Paramount inside the boardroom. Not only are they all handpicked, but they all just have to listen to whatever Andy says now.
You're crazy.
It's the most, I've never heard of anything like this.
And now they're having a temper tantrum because they don't agree with the direction of the legacy Redstone board members, right?
So if I believe that's what the reasoning might be here. But if you are an owner of Warner Brothers Discovery and you are curious, not beyond getting the payout for your company, you are curious what the value of your shares or what your role is as an owner of the company will be going forward. On Paramount, you get nothing. If you value governance at all, even a little bit, because everyone's looking purely at the value of HBO and streaming versus linear television, and that's how the valuation of the Warner Brothers has happened, and Netflix valued it at X minus the linear, and Larry wants it at Y with the linear, and whatever. The distinguishing feature between these companies are massive governance holes. It's not just a dual class company. It's a dual class board inside a dual class company that you will get as a Warner Brothers owner. You get nothing. You get that payout and you're out. There's no other thing that you get. You lose all your rights. And now Paramount wants to slate a board at Netflix or at Warner Brothers to approve this deal. Who are they going to pick? They're going to pick the Ellison designee. They're going to pick the low vote directors. It's bananas.
How about the arrogance in general? You take over this media company that has been part of American film studios forever. A year ago, you put your son in charge, who did run a production company, but it was a company that he founded when he was 23 years old because he had his father's money. So didn't actually learn the ropes anywhere. He kind of just made it up because it's kind of hard to fail when you have a lot of money behind you. Yeah, and within a year has the arrogance to not only decide the future of Paramount, but to tell Warner Brothers which another part of the history of film in America, telling them what's best, what offer they should accept. I mean, this is just, the ego on this. We've talked about this in the past, that there's nothing quite like the governance of media companies and just the hoopla around them, just like a movie or TV show, the egos that are attracted. We talked a lot about this with Nelson Peltz getting involved with Disney. Like what are you doing? Why are you inserting your ego? It's always these media companies. It's always these egotistical types. It's really something. It's really, really something.
So that's what's going on at Paramount.
All right, what else you got?
Is nuts. And the last thing I want to end on is some no action updates.
All right, this seems like going to be one of the bigger stories of the year. No actions.
So what the biggest story is actually the transparency that the SEC is suddenly offering around no action. Because I don't have a baseline yet. I don't know how often, certain shareholder proponents have been filing proposals that get rejected or get no action letters or whatever.
Is that information online from last year? No.
It's not online anywhere for prior years. This is new for the SEC to show you the no action letters. But what's interesting about is for all of the talk, remember the SEC has decided to not respond at all to requests to omit a shareholder proposal. They said they were too busy because of the government shutdown. That's real. That's one of the things that they said, despite the fact that the SEC chair said prior to that he didn't think they should exist. That has nothing to do. Those two things have nothing to do with each other. But the cloud cover has been government shutdown. For all the talk about being too busy thanks to the government shutdown, the SEC, out of 103 proposals that have been excluded that they have on their website, 70 of them they responded to. So I guess they're not too busy to respond with the form letter that says no action. We will take no action because that's
government.
What they said.
I know is the military has contracted recently with Elon Musk's AI company, so maybe they're just using AI. Maybe Grok is writing these responses, right?
So one of the things that I've started collecting, I've collected information on the proponents, whether it was excluded, whether it was withdrawn, whether they got a letter or not. And I started, I have to go back some and do it again because I didn't at the beginning. Started collecting the law firms because this really is the full opportunity act for law firms, right? Like many of the law firms are the same. Like Gibson Dunn keeps kicking around, and it's the same lawyer who often signs it, who are doing big reams of work saying this is why you should exclude it and sending it to the SEC like they're supposed to, and the SEC does not respond and it gets omitted, right? Like so the lawyers are still getting paid for nothing, right? Like but they still have to file this work. So they didn't actually save any money because you still have to pay the law firms to do that. The SEC is just not doing anything about it. Of the 103 proposals, 52 were John Chevedden. 52 of the proposals were John Chevedden.
Okay, so
I don't know how many
103 submitted total.
103 proposals on their website submitted total.
I mean the no actions.
They're seeking no action 103 times.
Oh, got it. Okay,
that they've
half
seeking
were
no
John
actions.
Chevedden. Got it.
52 were John Chevedden proposals, right? I don't know how many he normally puts up and how many times there is no action. Like that's where I don't have a baseline.
Shout out to Gina Gambetta over at Responsible Investor. I think she used to track reach out to her. I think she used to track a lot of these no actions. Maybe she can share. Maybe she has some of this information from past years.
It looks like 45 of the 52 actually got SEC responses, meaning out of 70 SEC responses, almost 65% of them are responses to Chevedden, right? Okay. Like so even though he's half of the no action requests, he's more than half of the responses.
Because they're easy responses? Because they could just copy and paste them?
They're all the same response. The same response is proponent, we are aware that proponent, filed proposal, we will seek no action, right? Like it's
that's their response. So there's no philosophical
philosophical treatise. There's nothing.
I don't understand.
All of the requests that he's been making are basic governance requests. Declassify the board, majority vote, special meeting, CEO chair split, and even two that were director resignation after they voted out, like saying your director should resign because they got voted out. That's two of his. These are very basic governance requests.
Yeah.
So clearly, what we're seeing actually clearly here is the anti-Chevedden SEC sentiment is strong, and it isn't woke or anti-woke that the SEC was trying to stop. It isn't about cost because the lawyers are still all getting paid. Everybody's doing all the same stuff. It is purely shareholder rights.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it.
Except they might tell you that they think that Chevedden is woke to suggest that a CEO and chair split or something, right? You don't know how they see it.
Possibly, except that when you look at the data,
any governance is woke.
87% of Chevedden proposals got a response, and all were excluded. The SEC only responded to 29% of the next highest, which was the National Center for Public Policy Research.
Right.
So they're not even bothering to respond to and forget ESG. They don't respond at all. They don't care. No one cares.
Forgive me for not understanding one part of this. So to respond means that they excluded the proposal? What does that mean to respond?
The proposals are excluded either way. As soon as you send in the letter as a company, the SEC has said for this proxy season that they are going to not respond to like a no response from the SEC means you're fine, omit it anyway. But the SEC is still taking time to respond to some of the requests for no action.
With a boilerplate response.
With a boilerplate letter.
And you're suggesting that the majority of them going
responding to
Chevedden, but they're not going to other proponents.
Exactly. They are going to Chevedden at an 87% rate when the next highest is a 29% rate at NCP.
And all they're really saying is they're not weighing in on the philosophy. They're just saying, like, we received your manuscript. We're not accepting new novels at this time. Like, that's
exactly.
It.
So literally, it's the difference between I applied for the job and got ghosted, but I still don't have the job, or I applied for the job and they took the time to send me the boilerplate that says, sorry.
So maybe they're not.
The job.
Maybe they're actually pro-Shevden. Maybe they're being polite.
Look, you can read it that way. The way I read it is that's the only guy that they're polite to. Everyone else they're not.
It's a funny start to the season.
It very clearly feels like the SEC is not attacking woke or anti-woke proponents. It is not a mass deluge.
They're restricting shareholder rights.
They are restricting
which we knew all along.
The things that are getting left out are shareholder rights things, and it's not like companies like Bob's Sporting Goods. It is a Becton Dixon. It is Johnson & Johnson. It's Apple, Disney, Starbucks, Berkshire, Broadcom, Pfizer. It is major companies who are using this to their advantage.
Well, I will say I got my curling broom at Bob's Sporting Goods. So how dare you besmirch? All right, is that it? You got anything else?
That's all I got. That's plenty.
That's way too much. That's the proxy countdown for the week of January 12th, 2026. Join us next week. Maybe when we jump back into the alternative democracy pool. Forever on the lookout for shareholder shenanigans, dopey directors, scandalous CEO pay ratios, maybe no action responses.
Maybe.
Definitely wayward band-aids.
Oh.